You are being observed the moment you are being seen. It is a scary thought, isn't it? For most of us, the idea of being seen isn't exactly a thrilling one. It is actually quite terrifying. But let's clarify. Talking to people happens constantly. We are a social species. We need each other to function and survive. And we literally live in a world of interconnectedness. But maybe you have clicked on this video because you want to extend that radius. Maybe you have a class coming up, a presentation to hold, or even a speech you want to give. I have been working as a Zumba instructor, as a fitness instructor for over 8 years now. In Zumba, we don't lead with our voice necessarily, we lead with our body. So body cues are very important. Next to that, in my day-to-day life, I work in marketing, meaning emails, calls, you name it. But also, of course, presentations and sometimes speeches on stage. And in this video, I want to give you my personal learnings that I have gathered over the last years and also tips on how to present in front of a group. To be honest with you, this video was not easy to create. I literally postponed writing the script for ages, and it really took some time for me to get a hold of all the main aspects I want to share with you today. You know, I really care very deeply about this topic. I love connecting to groups over facial expressions, body cues, words, obviously. But this journey just did not come easy to me. And I started at a very, very different point where I was constantly questioning my presence. This is also why I want you to take this video not as a, oh, I need to fix myself, but more as an encouragement for yourself. Let's start with the first point, the vulnerability for yourself. People remember how you made them feel. Do you know that quote? It is very true, especially if you have people who are very keen to their emotions. But at the same time, I want to ask you, do you even feel yourself? How safe do you feel with yourself? Can you look into the mirror and actually accept what you see? So taking care of my looks, obviously. I have some makeup on today. I do my hair. Sometimes I do my nails, not at the moment, so please don't take a look at them. And that is very important to me. But confidence also translates to, I personally feel, how balanced am I? How fulfilled am I with my life? And these factors are so different for everyone. Like for me personally, my social circle, for example, gives me a lot of energy. How is it for you? Does your circle give you energy or take energy from you? At the same time, I need time for myself. I need my space. I need time to think, to be creative. Now, 8 years ago, I was not at that point. And in the next 8 years, I will be at a completely different point. But that's the beauty of life, right? And sometimes I look back and I just think, wow, I'm very happy that little Laura went for it. When her former Zumba instructor asked her to cover her classes, she said yes. And honestly, really gave it her all. So what gives me personally self-trust is to try it over and over and over again. And trust me, I have been at points, times in my life, where I told myself, this is gonna be it. I give up. I'm done with whatever this is. But I feel like it is maybe human nature to get back up again and try again. And this is also what initially fulfills us, because at one point you will have success in one direction or the other. And it doesn't have to be like this huge thing, but just the feeling of getting up, even though you don't want to get going. What also gives me this kind of security with myself is that when I am speaking about a topic, for example, filming a video like this, but also talking to people about something, I really take my time to dive very deep into that topic. Now, for this, it definitely helps if you are actually interested in what you're trying to present, obviously. But for example, with public speaking, the amount of time that went into that preparation, I cannot even tell you. I watched all kinds of YouTube videos. I looked at people who were on stage before. I had free resources, I had paid resources, but I really enjoyed getting better and learning about the topic because I wanted, of course, to deliver my best performance. Okay, now a very important point for me is point number 2, which is vulnerability basically to the outside. Where do I start this? Now, I have been a person who is very open. Not necessarily because I wanted to, but because I felt like I had to. And maybe you are someone and knows the feeling that sometimes you overshare and look back and you just think to yourself, maybe I should have said that. I think what comes up as a tip for people if they want to speak in front of others, if they want to connect to other people, is the point of vulnerability. And obviously we have just talked about how you have to be vulnerable to yourself first, but then at the same time, how vulnerable do you want or have to be with other people? Now, vulnerability does not mean you have to strip naked in front of other people. You always choose what you want to share from yourself. In German, we have two different words, which I want to explain to you now. And it is the word of vulnerability generally, which is Verwundbarkeit. But then also we have another term which is called Verletzlichkeit, which goes more into the direction of feeling actual pain. So Verwundbarkeit is basically the healed scar. You are sharing experiences to other people that you already lived through and healed from. And you are doing that to make yourself more tangible and to connect to other people because they know they are not alone and they get a grip from you. But that also means that you share from a position of strength and reflection. And honestly, the sole purpose of this is to build a bridge to other people. And this is what you can always have in mind when you come up with stories or lessons that you want to share. Now, Verletzlichkeit is basically the open wound. This is something you are still hurting about. You know those people who share something with you in the middle of an emotional process? I do that with my very close friends who I know I can trust. But not everyone is a close friend that you can trust. So the topic can feel like basically an open wound, very raw, very unprotected, and potentially even uncomfortable to share. You are not obligated to share any personal, private things if you don't feel comfortable with it. And you don't have to share any ongoing issues to be authentic. If you go more into the healed wound though, it creates an authentic connection without the risk of overwhelm from any side. 3, the biggest lie, you have to know it all. Don't get me wrong, if you speak about a topic, you should know what you're speaking about, please. However, in my personal opinion, I don't think you will ever be at a point where you know everything. Sometimes when you present a topic, people will have questions for you. And at one point there will, be a time where you maybe don't know the answer, and that is okay. Maybe someone asks you a question and you're like, I haven't even thought of that. But you know what? Let me look it up and get back to you and have a cool conversation with someone about something new that you can also learn about it. I think this actually builds more trust than having to fake an answer. Because if someone fakes an answer, let's be honest, most of the time you know that. People feel it. And lastly, I asked my friends on their tips on how they feel comfortable, especially in front of larger audiences. I have a lot of friends from the, I want to say, group fitness Zumba bubble. It is also an industry, of course, and people want to present their art. So what normally happens is that you have certain instructors or presenters that are being invited to events, masterclasses, etc., with hundreds of people in front of them. And I wanted to know how they feel they can connect in these kind of scenarios, and why they think people come back to certain instructors, and why they think certain rooms are being filled with energies while others kind of lack it. And they said if you love what you do, people will feel it. I personally would extend it even further and say if you prepared enough and if you prepared extensively, people will also feel that. If you have put thought into something, people will feel that. Passion is what drives you forward and will get you through hardships at any point. But sometimes we lack passion. Sometimes we're at a point where maybe what we are doing right now doesn't feel as amazing as when we started doing it. You are prepared, and if you've put in time and energy to get yourself to a level where you can perform at any time, this is an amazing base to have. But also generally, are you a passionate person? Do you enjoy being passionate, and do you allow yourself to feel passion? Do you actually allow yourself to let life rush through you, to knock you down at times, to help you get back up, to get you to bigger heights than you were before? This sounds all very cryptic, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes we close ourselves up because we don't want to fail. I mean, generally no one wants to fail. Maybe you have people who have set their mindset to, you know, failure is good and it's just part of life. This is where we all maybe want to get to, but generally it doesn't feel great, right? Do you actually allow yourself to make mistakes that you can grow and learn from? And I want to say you are allowed to try things out. It really helps to start with a small audience and to kind of work your way up. It can be a very enjoyable process. I'm very glad I was able to record this video because this took some time. And now I can go to my next one, which I'm extremely excited about. My next video is going to be about public speaking. So if you're interested in that, just check out the channel. Right now, I thank you for listening. I can only tell you, you got this. And I hope you took something from this video. See you next time.